we're in like this wave of like being evolved and not being evolved at the same time. Like,
drop a like if you're a fan of the Joe Rogan Show. Hey everyone, what's up, and welcome back to Film Tower. American sports commentator, martial artist, and TV host Joe Rogan launched his own free audio and video podcast named The Joe Rogan Experience back in 2009. While Rogan hardly hesitated while talking about controversial topics or inviting the guests he liked, there have been incidents where things didn't go according to plan. Let's have a look at the 8 biggest bloopers on the Joe Rogan Show. But before we begin, make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the bell icon so that you don't miss out on any of our videos. Alright, now let's begin. Number 8. Roasting Cyborg. One of Joe Rogan's podcasts from 2015 include the UFC's president Dana White and comedy writer Tony Hinchcliffe. During the podcast, the three of them crossed a few lines while discussing the American-Brazilian mixed martial artist Cris Cyborg. Rogan and Hinchcliffe began talking about the possibility of a comedy roast for Cyborg and passed a disrespectful comment about her, later laughing it off. Dana White, on the other hand, didn't participate in the act. Unsurprisingly, many fans backlashed at Rogan and Hinchcliffe, and Cris Cyborg publicly confronted them on Twitter, openly calling them bullies.
She's the only person that cuts weight by chopping off her dick.
Number 7. Lying politicians. When Joe Rogan invited Nick DiPaolo, an American stand-up comedian, radio personality, and podcast host on his show, the two got into discussion about politicians. It's no surprise that politicians are known to tell many lies, but Rogan and DiPaolo got into an argument about who told more lies, Donald Trump or Hillary Clinton. Even though a majority of the audience disliked Trump even back then, the argument between the two soon got annoying.
yeah, I mean,
But
that's
this idea that Trump's working with him is fucking silly.
Number 6. Inappropriate terms. This blooper isn't from Joe Rogan's own show, but it's still during one of the times when he was hosting. Viewers habitual of watching the UFC must be well aware of the fact that Joe Rogan has lost control of his commentary numerous times. In 2003, while hosting UFC 43, when the professional martial artist and kickboxer Marvin Eastman got injured with a serious wound above his eye, Rogan made an inappropriate comment about it which wasn't suitable for live television. He repeated the same act while being a commentator at the UFC Fight Night in 2008. Later on, in his show, Rogan himself confessed that the UFC president Dana White had particularly asked him not to use inappropriate language. Number 5. Joking about assault. When the writer and radio host Jamie Kilstein joined Rogan as a guest for one of his podcasts, the two got into a discussion about an inappropriate joke comedian Daniel Tosh had made about assault in 2012. Tosh's so-called joke had ignited the audience and the media, who was extremely infuriated. On the Joe Rogan Show, Kilstein pointed out that surviving the trauma of being assaulted is much worse than murder. Rogan didn't agree with the statement and called him crazy.
Yeah, and I kind of was like, all right, it's a little weird.
girls you were dating, but you were married.
Number 4. Diaz's language. In an era where insensitive jokes regarding controversial issues are no longer tolerated, famous personalities really have to watch out for their language, particularly while interacting with an audience. When Cuban-American comedian Joey Diaz appeared on Rogan's show, he went a bit too far while expressing his anger. He clearly stated that even though he tries not to upset someone, sometimes he just can't give up certain offensive terms and controversial jokes that he's habitual of using.
Business.
Right.
This is a business, and I got mouths to feed. But when I'm at the Comedy Store...
Number 3. Ganging up. Brendan Schwab, Brian Callen and Joe Rogan have been together on numerous shows in the past, so we'd assume that the three would enjoy each other's company. However, during one of the times on Rogan's show, Brendan and Joe ganged up against Brian, who pointed out that he had to face a lot of bullying at one point in his life and wasn't ready to tolerate any such thing from now on. Consequently, Rogan and Swab argued that Colin's attempt at acting tough wasn't actually working.
You know what your problem is?
Hold on, let me
Here's
handle
your
this.
problem. Here's your problem. You've talked to too many guys that let you say shit like that.
Number 2. Owen's belief. When political activist and conservative commentator Candace Owens was invited as a guest on Joe Rogan's show, she shared one of her beliefs, saying that according to her, climate change doesn't exist. She did admit that she wasn't well informed on the subject. Rogan, who was quite shocked, began giving her the statistics related to global warming and pointed out how it wasn't about people's beliefs or opinions. The host also openly told Candace that she, being an influential personality, shouldn't be releasing such statements.
Entrepreneur in America without a piece of paper from the government, discouraging people with this piece of paper, like shutting down the...
Number 1. Yiannopoulos' argument. Milo Yiannopoulos, a British political commentator and public speaker, joined Joe Rogan on his show in 2015, when the two men got themselves into a heated argument. It wasn't such a great idea to talk about religion and myths, particularly Christianity, and cultural practices in the US and Britain. While Yiannopoulos tried to keep himself calm, Rogan wasn't holding himself back, and the argument just kept getting out of control.
Our sense of right and wrong comes from the Bible.
What?
It does.
What comes from the Bible?
Despite these popular bloopers, currently, Rogan has over 200 million monthly listens along with views on YouTube. Well, this brings us to the end of our video, and we hope you guys enjoyed it. If you haven't liked the video yet, it's never too late to hit that thumbs up. We'll see you soon in another video. Until then, take care and goodbye.